fellow readers, I, Dark Symphony 777, with another fan fiction reading. As always, link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, and leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story, as well as any future fan fictions you want me to read or review. So, Kingdom Hearts 3 has been out for a couple of weeks, and the last story I reviewed was a Kingdom Hearts Frozen crossover, which technically counts as a Kingdom Hearts fan fiction because, you know, Ariandel's part of 3. So I thought, I'd do one review and then one reading. And then I remembered I saw this story randomly when I looked up. It's called Mysterious Onyx by Heartless Alchemist. It's a Kingdom Hearts fanfiction. It's set in Kingdom Hearts 3, kind of, sort of. Let me explain. So if you look at the publishing, it was published September 25th, 2018. Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't come out until January 29th, 2019. Based on this, I can assume that the author wrote this fanfiction based off the demo. So this is going to be more based off the demo rather than the full game. And so it stars this person right here. Hey, this little doll right here. Who was kind of like one of the main talking points because everyone liked the design of this boss. Because at the time we didn't know what this boss was. We do not have a name, Angelic Amber, and so, but you know, when the demo came out, we didn't know what her name was. So I figured, why not? So basically, this is actually 4 chapters, so I gotta actually, like, do each chapter. I just realized that. Because usually when I do screen recorder, it takes a while to load up the things, so I think it'd just be better if I do this and just have each page right here. Alright. So this takes place in the Toy Store World toy box. And let's read the synopsis. The tale of a heartless toy, Angelic Amber, unwanted alone, but, well, not alone anymore, finally chosen, just not in the way she wanted. So, let's read the story. Every coming day was a dread that she prayed would end. New potential owners would come into the store and occasionally wander over to her little corner in the girls section. Unlike most other toys on the shore, she didn't have her own special sign or display. She just sat there under the table, barely visible to the average child and overshadowed by other more modern and flashy brands of her own type. Her position wasn't exactly helping to market herself, but the other dolls insisted that there was no room for her up there, and trading spots was out of the question. She had been in stock for years now, though in spite of that, she could still count the number of times someone had even noticed her, let alone touched her. I want a princess, not a maid. She remembered those here. No, that's an error. Just get rid of those right there. She remembered hearing those words. That'd just be better. One grava era. One are those words the most often from the children. There were other reasons that discouraged people from choosing her. Porcelain will break easily. You know, porcelain does break easily, but, you know, most people will buy the doll and, you know, they'll put it on the set, they'll dress it up, and just have it there, and, you know, just to appreciate the fact that, you know, it's actually pretty cool. Porcelain dolls have their own charm to them. That's what I'm saying. Or, it looks old-fashioned. Or, we can do better. But the one that hurt the most every time she heard it was, she looks creepy. You're telling me that looks creepy? That looks downright adorable. She could understand people not wanting to risk breaking a porcelain doll or wanting something newer. She had been around a while. In fact, she was beginning to wonder if the store clerks forgot she was there. Probably the only reason I haven't been thrown out yet. She couldn't decide if it was a blessing or a curse. She was inclined to lean toward it being a curse, considering her track record. The worst part about her being creepy was that she knew it was true, and it was the one aspect about her that affected her ability to attract an owner just as much as her ability to attract a friend. Most of the other toys pretended that she didn't exist or ignored her whenever she felt bold enough to initiate the conversation. But the other dolls couldn't get away with that when they were right next to her. They tried. Instead, they resorted to making themselves as unfriendly and approachable as possible to her, which worked better than they could have dreamed. They haven't heard so much as a peep for her for the last 3 years. That's actually kind of sad. What kind of genre is this? Friendship, hurt, comfort. Oh yeah, it is kind of sad. So yeah, I can kind of see that. Alone, unwanted, forgotten. She wandered the empty halls of the store after dark. She contemplated what would happen if she just lied down and waited for the next door opening manager to open the door and step on her. I'd crack, but probably not break. That didn't stop her from lying there until she thought of something else. So, wait, so this doll was contemplating suicide? That's horrible. That's just sad. What if, before next closing time, I hide in one of the waste baskets behind the counter and have them throw me into the dumpster? She got up from the front doorway and started heading toward the counters. Yeah, that'll work. Just as she was leaving the doorway, a small, shadowy portal appeared behind her, and just as she noticed it, something of indescribable shape emerged and moved towards her with frightening speed, and then blocked. I'm guessing, based on what I read about the toy box, it was probably the King of Toys, Heartless. That's like the main boss of Toy Box. So that's what I'm guessing. Okay, so back to this. She couldn't remember exactly what happened to her or why they had come for her. Perhaps it was mere chance. Perhaps her sadness made her easy to use. Whatever the reason, these monstrous intruders had possessed her for their own use. It wasn't long before they had taken over Galaxy Toys. This entire ordeal was strange, but something else that was striking her as odd was that it was well past opening time, and yet no one had come to the store. She couldn't discern if the two events were related, but she was glad that at least no children were seeing her like this. If they thought she was creepy before, her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of an automatic door sliding open. She investigated the sound only to find more oddities. A bunch of toys walking into the toy store. Today is just full of surprises. Suddenly, the darkness controlling her body was making her anxious for some reason, as the other monsters were becoming battle-ready. She could sense the cause deep within. Fear, but fear what? She then looked more closely at the newcomers, and as her eyes instinctively focused on the spiky-haired toy. Love him! And yes, there's an author. I know, a whole story based on what is probably going to be a throwaway mini-boss. I didn't choose what my brain finds interesting, okay? I just know there's something more to this character. I just know it. My heart is telling me what I must do. Please allow me to... Okay. So, Chapter 2. Of all the toys that these intruders could be scared of, it had to be him. He didn't look threatening or intimidating in the slightest. The size of a Coca-Cola bottle, he barely came up past her knees. He didn't seem to have any special features, no extendable arms, karate chop action, or even a pull string to talk like she did. Every time she prodded the darkness for answers, she always got the same word, Keyblade. Well, he doesn't seem to have it, whatever that is, she thought to herself. As if they heard her, the shadows ambushed at the new... Two errors. Right here. Just get rid of one, though. The shadows ambushed the newcomers, along with the hijacked Gigators. And for the first time, she caught a glimpse of the guy who was responsible for all this. She was too far away to hear what he and the newcomers were saying, but she managed to get a name, the Xenohorde. The Dark Master leaves as soon as he can and unleashed his horde on the other toys. As she watched them fight, she noticed he pulled out that so-called Keyblade out of thin air and transported it into other weapons as he moved around the store, swift as the wind, even taking over the guy against himself. Wow, he must be a really advanced toy. Real top-of-the-line stuff. I bet every kid in the world would want him. Everyone wants him. Aww. I want to give Amber a hug. Isn't it kind of creepy that I actually want an Angelic Amber doll? I think Disney and Square would make a killing if they actually make dolls of her. Her body started moving against her will again. She started attacking stray toys and imprisoning them in various places hidden around the store. She wanted to kick herself for being so mean to everyone, but she couldn't so much as wince her face to indicate her will underneath the shadow's influence. It wasn't long before that super advanced toy and his friends came into her zone and started finding the other toys she had captured. Apparently, this angered the dark entity that was possessing her. For as soon as they, it needs to say they, freed the piggy bank from the dollhouse, she was forced to attack them herself. The darkness used her body as a weapon itself, a conduit for its powers to be directed at this toy, and amplified for her own misery and self-loathing. She worried that she might seriously break these toys as the Space Ranger was knocked around into his cowboy friend. The weird dog-looking toy could certainly take a lot of punishment. The spiky one seemed to be handling things alright, though for some reason he kept yelling at the duck to heal me! I can just picture that. Just Sora running around yelling, heal me! And Donald's like, the other games you didn't want me to heal you? Well, I want you to heal me now. The duck just went down in her first attack. It was kind of embarrassing for everyone. That sounds like Donald, alright. Sora probably just picked up Donald and said, Donald! Attack! And then, you're dead! What a big surprise. Sorry. I'm just sorry. The amazing toy struck her down with with a final decisive blow. As she drifted into unconsciousness, she swore she saw a green flash around him and heard some strange sound followed by the spiky toy saying sarcastically, "Thanks, Donald." She didn't know for how long, but when she woke up, she was alone again. As she pulled herself together and she realized she had control of her body again. Dark entity was gone, but so was everyone else. She tried looking around for everyone as all the empty shells and broken toys started to weigh heavy on her heart. If they didn't like me before, they're gonna hate me now. She followed the trailer of singed carpet, ice shards, and other elemental mishaps until she could hear a ruckus from the floor above her. She found the spiky toy fighting alone now as he was being overwhelmed by the Gigas and other possessed toys. He was punched by the Gigas so hard that he flew over the railing and fell into a collection of toys on the floor she was on. She ran over to check on him as he struggled to pull himself out of the unstable mass of plushies. She reached inside to pull him out, but he immediately jumped out of her hand and took a battle stance. She waved her hands frankly as she stepped back. Wait, I'm not here to fight. I wanted to apologize for my behavior. He relented and relaxed as he waited to hear her story. She explained her predicament to him as he stayed silent throughout, not wanting to interrupt her. And then I woke up and the darkness was gone. That's when I found you here. He finally dismissed his keyblade and gave her a... Wait, was that a smile? Directed at her? She couldn't remember the last time she experienced something so profound. She was so distracted by the gesture that she didn't register what he said. Come again? He shrugged and spoke more clearly. I said my name is Sora. Nice to meet you. She was embarrassed now for a number of reasons. Mostly because she didn't have a name to give him, so she looked for anything she could use as a name. Then it hit her. Onyx. That's my name. She hoped he wouldn't catch that on that she got it from Onyx Toys, the bankrupt company that manufactured. Granted, the author can write the story now and call her Amber because we now know that's her name. That's fine. If she's named Onyx, I don't care. Sora thought nothing of it. He was far too focused on getting back to his friends. Listen, I appreciate you pulling me out of that pile and going out of your way to apologize, but I have to go rescue my friends. She realizes she's been holding him up. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me help you. I know where the dark creatures have been collecting, I think. I have a vague memory of it. Sora looked shocked. They're called Heartless. Hold on, you know where their boss is hiding? She becomes a little unsure of herself. I think so. Sora excitedly jumps onto her right shoulder and growls onto one of her bunny ears for stability. Cool! Lead the way! Clearly uncomfortable with his friendly demeanor. Alright. Clearly uncomfortable with his friendly demeanor, she tried to shake off her antisocial tendencies and lead into the lair as he rolled her like a titan. Of course. She tried to let her feet remember where they had been as she retraced her steps. What if we run into the more Heartless? I don't have my powers anymore. I won't be much help to you. And I'm made of porcelain. Very fragile. Sora laughed. Are you kidding me? You're huge! You can just step on the little guys. Besides, if we run into someone too big for you, I'll protect you. Don't worry. He gave her a comforting smile which calmed her heart. She muttered to herself, is this what having a friend is like? Sora leaned in. Duh, huh? Did you say something? She became flustered. No, nothing at all. Okay, chapter 3. Sora and Onyx made their way through Galaxy Toys as Onyx proceeded to followed the dark presence calling to her. And just like Sora said, they encountered many smaller Heartless along the way that she proceeded to step on or kick around. This is kind of fun. I can get used to this. Sora leans on her head as she stands on her shoulder. He was surprised that she took to taking out Heartless so well. He wasn't used to having a party member who could not only carry the weight, but carry the whole team. Probably even literally. You're really good at this. I just like that name. I just like that. Who not only carry the weight, but carry the whole team. Alright. Sorry. Had to do something. So where was I? Oh yeah, I like this little joke, this little take that towards Donald and Goofy. Donald, you're useless. You're really good at this. Are you sure you're not an action figure? He joked painfully as she giggled somewhat awkwardly. Don't get too comfortable. If any of those bigger guys come at me, I'm gonna be in trouble. As if on cue, 8 Gigas jumped down from the floor above. Onyx panicked and tried to look for an escape route, but before she even made a move, Sora jumped off her shoulder and charged the towering mech. Well, towering to him, at least. Even though she had seen him in action before, she was still amazed on how courageous and confident Sora was in the first place, of such daunting obstacles. Her focus on Sora led to her being blindsided by a random Heartless pouncing her from one of the shelves as she collapsed. Onyx! Sora dispatched the Gigas with great haste as he returned to get the swarming Heartless off of her. He cleared them off and dismissed his Keyblade as he absent-mindedly offered her a hand up. But soon realized how silly he looked. You okay? She appeared to have a crack in her cheek up across the bridge of her nose. Your face. She clambered up to her knees as she sorrowfully covers her face. It's not a huge loss. My face was a hindrance anyway. Confused, Sora asked her to clarify. Huh? What do you mean? She elaborated. My face scares children and even some adults. That's the main reason no one would take me. And that in turn is probably what made me so appealing to the Heartless. Too creepy to be sold to kids. Sora thought for a moment and grew a big smile on his face. Well, what about bigger kids? She raised an eyebrow, but let Sora continue. I'm pretty sure Donald would give me an earful for telling you this, but I'm not from this world. Wow, order! I'm normally a regular size, albeit slightly shorter than average human. What if I take you? World order! She was surprised to hear this fact, but it was the only thing that made all of this other weird stuff around her make sense. She was even more surprised that he had proposed such an idea. You do that, but are you okay with my face? Sora put his hand on her nose. I mean, some glue should fix that right up. If not, I know an old guy who has some expertise with making toys that come to life. She stands up as she reaches down to pick Sora up, and he continues. Unless you meant the whole creepy nonsense, because you're not. I happen to think your face is quite cute. How she waited to hear that used to describe her. She had never felt such joy. It overflowed as she expressed her gratitude in the only way she felt befitted such a compliment. She pulled she pulled him up to her face and kissed his whole face at once. Aww, that's adorable. Although with their size different, it looked like she was trying to eat him from a distance. Mwah! Thank you so much. Sora was starting to be very thankful that this toy form did not allow him to blush, or else he'd be bright as red as tomato right now. Motivated, energetic, Onyx was fired up to help Sora find his friends. She bolted toward their destination with fire in her eyes while still holding Sora in her hands, who had a dull-eyed look on his face due to him still processing what just happened. Sora, you got kissed by a toy. Not an actual girl. I mean, yeah, it's a kiss, but you got Kyrie. You got Kyrie. Just focus on the girl. And then noticed a mirror on one of the nearby toys that they passed by and chuckled at his position. I know I promised you'd be my toy, but right now it looks like it's the other way around. She finally made it to where she wanted to be. This is the spot. This is where I felt the darkness pull me in, but she couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. She pointed up to the floor above. There, I see them. They both caught sight of a huge UFO toy carrying off a bunch of toys in its clutches. Hey, King of Toys, right there. It noticed that it had been seen and attempted to flee with its catch. Onyx locked onto the stairs to get to the next floor and catch it, but was cut off by a Gigas, and this one brought help. They were surrounded by 3 Gigas as the UFO was getting away. Onyx thought fast and gave Sora a look of determination, but he didn't seem to understand what she was thinking. She gripped him in her hand, pulled back, and chucked Sora all the way to the next floor. As he landed, he looked back down in concern. What are you doing? She smiled confidently. I got this. You go save your friends. Sora nodded affirmatively and took off after the UFO. As he ran, he shouted back to her as loud as he could. I'll come back to you! I promise! Onyx grabbed a toy sword from a nearby shelf and took a fighting stance similar to Sora. It took me 10 years to find someone. I am not going to lose him now. She emulates Sora's fighting style as much as she can remember and fights off the Gigas. That actually sounds... I can actually imagine that being one of the most adorable things I can. Just see a little porcelain doll holding like a foam sword and like swinging it like a T-Rex. Like, no, I found someone. I'm not gonna give up on him. I need by someone. Fighting off other toys with it. It's like, no, I will be bought. Yeah. It's adorable. It just sounds so adorable. I can picture in my head. As she searched throughout the store, she began to feel a shift in the darkness, like something was just becoming whole again. She soon noticed people started to materialize into reality, but the people weren't reacting to this change at all. They were just going about their business as usual, as if two halves of the world were being woven back together. Onyx hides herself quickly as she begins to wonder if Sora was responsible for this. Her question would be put on hold as she saw Sora and his friends outside the toy store in the parking lot out back fighting against that Xenohort guy. She makes her way down to them as quickly and covertly as possible. When she arrives, it appears that Xenohort is trying to retreat into his dark portal. Sora attempts to stop him, but is sent flying by Xenohort into the path of a huge semi-truck pulling into the lot. Onyx rushes in without hesitation and dives into Sora, shoving him out of the way, but before he even had time to get up and turn around to his savior, he hears a haunting sound that chilled him to his core. Crunch! Aww. Oh, she got crushed. Aww. Sora ran under the parked semi-truck and desperately searched for Onyx. He stopped dead in his tracks as the life left his face and dropped to his knees before the shadow remains of her body. The bottom half of her torso was gone, as was her left arm and half her face. Miraculously, she was still conscious, but barely holding on. I think it's gonna take more than glue. That should be Van, not that. So 3, grab it out of to fix me. She struggles to get the words out as tears begin to fall from Sora's face. Why? Why did you do it? She reached behind her back with her one arm and to grab hold of the pull string on her back. All these years and no one had ever pulled it before. She wasn't even sure if it was too damaged to work now. She pulled it for the first time, and chipper and joyful tone of her voice spoke her first voice clip. You're my best friend in the world. Sora just couldn't keep it together anymore, wailing and bawling his eyes out as he wrapped his arms around her broken head. That's actually pretty sad, if you think about it. That's actually pretty sad. She pat his head to comfort him. Please don't cry. I want you to be happy when you remember me. Not sad. I spent too many years wallowing in my own self-pity and misery. Because of you, I could smile. I could laugh. I could hope for something better. Someone to care for, to play with, and to love. As soon as the words left her lips, she closed her eye and drifted off into that final darkness. But Sora would not let go. He refused to let this be her end. He summoned his Keyblade and pointed it at her body. A light radiated from the tip and brought an orb of light out of her body. Her heart had been liberated from her body as Sora brought it to himself for safekeeping. Sora then collapsed on the spot, clenching his chest as he felt a sharp pain course throughout his body, as well as crushing force squeezing his heart like that needs to be a balloon in a vice grip. It was too much for him to bear. Is this her pain, the hurt she kept in her heart all this time? As Sora rolled on the floor in agony, his friends came to him. Sora couldn't really remember what happened after they came to him. He faded in and out of consciousness too often to get the full picture. He was able to get an idea, though. Buzz and Woody thanked them for helping him fix their world. Donald and Goofy took Sora to the gummy ship and flew to Traverse Town. And Sora regained consciousness on a bed in the hotel. He found Aerith asleep at the foot of the bed, likely having been working tirelessly to heal Sora. He trades places with her and moves her sleeping body into the bed and leaves a flower at the nightstand for her as thanks when she wakes up. Just outside the room, Donald and Goofy pace around anxiously until Sora casually opens the door to them. Goofy rushes in for a hug, but Donald goes straight to chastising Sora and whacking him in the shin with a staff. Ow! Healers are supposed to heal, not hurt. Donald reads him the riot act as Sora honestly started to have trouble understanding about halfway through. That sounds about right for Donald. Sora went to the front desk to ask for room service. Hey, can we get some sweet tea in the red room? If I'm back, it should be it, not if. If you get it before I'm back, just knock. I'm sure she'll let you in. The receptionist replied, Of course, sir. Will you and your big sister need anything else? Sora tried to explain. What? She's not. Donald and Goofy interrupted him with explosive laughter. Sora shrugged it off, not in the mood to get into it. Fine, whatever. Give my sister whatever she wants. Donald teased Sora as he left the hotel. You're a good brother, Sora. Sora just flicked Donald's bill and bolted off before he could yell at him. Sora moved through the town to First District to find Geppetto's house and knocks on the door. The old toy maker welcomes him inside. What can I do for you, my boy? You here to see what I cooked up this time? Sora waved off the suggestion. I'm not here for gummy blueprints today, Geppetto. I'm here to make a request. Do you take commissions on custom toy builds? The old man patted Sora's back and led him over to the planning board. For you, my boy, anything. What are you in the market for? Sora smiled in relief. Sometime later, Aerith enjoyed the sweet tea her brother ordered for her as Donald and Goofy joked with her about the whole thing. Do you think if I started referring to Sora as little bro from now on that he'd get mad at me? Donald was just waiting to answer her question, but Goofy answered first. I think he'd love it. Or Aerith would have doubted it if it came from Donald, but Goofy seemed so sure that she believed him wholeheartedly. The discussion was cut short by a knock on the door, followed by Sora's voice. I'm coming in! He opened the door as Donald and Goofy were shocked to see what he was holding. Cradled in the crook of his arm was that doll that they saw that saved them. Well, not exactly. This one seems to be made of a light polished wood instead of porcelain. But other than that, it was identical. Aerith noticed it as well, but didn't understand the significance as she just thought if another 5 errors, this needs to be it too. It was funny, Sora, I didn't know you liked him. That's cute. Sora rubbed the back of his neck. Hey, I'm not going to start throwing tea parties or dress up anything. This is the only doll I like. Donald protested Sora's action. Sora! Meddling! World order! Tell that to Triton. But then again, it's Triton. I don't think he gives a fuck. Sora clamps Donald's bills closed. Button your beak. That's a stupid rule anyway. Besides, I already paid Geppetto for it, and there are no refunds. And, technically, this toy was made in this world, but her heart came from inside of me, so Eric connected the dots. So, she's an extension of you, in a sense. Sora points to Aerith exactly. It's a loophole. Deal with it. Donald fumbles around his words in an attempt to come up with an excuse. Yeah, keep trying, Donald. Aerith inspects the doll closer and she notices he hasn't moved an inch. You said you put your heart in. So, does she talk? Sora put her in both hands and looked at her motionless face. Oh, well, she's really shy. Plus, there's this thing in her old world about playing the part. Hang on, I got an idea. He kisses her forehead as she struggles to keep a straight face. She couldn't hold in. Onyx squeals in embarrassment as she covers her face with her hands. Sora smirks at her. That's payback. After a long introduction to everyone in town, Donald insisted that it was time to get back to their mission. Sora handed Onyx to Aerith. Take care of her for me, won't you? Onyx protested. What? I don't know. I want to go with you. Sora gave her a stern look. You can't come. It's way too dangerous where we're going. There's a lot worse things out there other than there's a lot worse things to worry about than traffic. She makes a cute pouty face. She knew he was right, but wanted to be with him at all times, as any toy does with their owner. Sora continued. Besides, this is technically your homeworld now, so this will keep Donald happy and hopefully keep him from tattling to Yensid on me. Aerith held onto Onyx tightly as she smiled. You can count on me. Anything for my little bro. Sora rolled his eyes and tried not to laugh as he gave the two of them a hug. Onyx tried not to cry, but old habits died hard. Sora rubbed her head and reached into his pocket to grab something and hand it to her. Aerith will look after you, but I want you to look after this. He hands her Kyrie's good luck charm. I hear reunions are guaranteed with these trinkets, and Kyrie will kill me if I don't bring that back to her. So I pretty much have no choice but to come back for you. Got it? She wipes away her tears and nods with a trusting smile as she treasures the charm. Sora, Donald, and Goofy all head out to the world exit as Sora waves off Aerith, Onyx, and Geppetto. The door closes behind them and Geppetto starts throwing ideas at Onyx. You know, my son Pinocchio would love to play with those 99 puppies with you. Aerith sighs. I feel like a soccer mom setting up playdates for my toddler. As they walk back towards 2nd District, a silver-haired figure watches them from a distance on a rooftop of the accessory shop. He leaves without a word, leaving behind a single solitary black feather. The end! Who could it be now? It's Sephiroth. It's obvious. There may be a sequel series if enough people want one. Let me know what you think. I'll try to finish more of my stories before I start another one. So that's the story on Mysterious Onyx. So let me just get back. Let me just lower this and get back to my screen. So here's what I think of the story. I think it's actually a very good idea. Mainly because I wasn't really that interested in playing Kingdom Hearts 3 because it looked like it was way too floaty for its own good. I think it kind of became, the floaty thing will kind of would cause the game to become too easy. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3, so I don't know at that for a fact. But I like the idea. I like the idea of, Sora using this loophole to try and get someone who's kind of unloved. Uh, I don't know if it's true. Let me just actually have a big picture of her while I talk about it. I actually really like the design of the toy, Heartless, Amber. I'm just gonna call her Amber because that's officially her name. I think it's a simple enough story. Sora just, the boss fight, Sora frees her, she goes to help, Sora repays her, and, now Amber has a friend. I think that it's obvious that this story should be expanded because of the simple fact, again, the story was based off the demo, so as far as I know, all we really got was a few rooms, and, the Angelic Amber boss fight. So, I would like to see an actual expanded version of the story. Keep it friendship, hurt comfort. I mean, that's fine. I think grammar-wise, aside from those 4 grammar errors, it's fine. Pacing, again, going on the assumption that the author didn't have not really much to work with, so the author just kind of, tried his or her best. Plot-wise, I think, it's just basically Toy Box, just Sora's being helped by Amber instead of Donald and Goofy, and Buzz and Woody and stuff like that. And then, there's a sequel hook with, that could possibly lead to a sequel starring Amber and Aerith actually kind of just goofing off, wandering around Traverse Town. And that actually would be a hilarious image of Sephiroth attacking Aerith, and then Amber is crawling all over him, just whacking him with looks like he's like, and Sephiroth's like, stop hitting me, wait, hey, come back here. I could see the potential for a sequel being more comedic, with Aerith and Amber actually just stopping Sephiroth through ridiculous means, can you really see Sephiroth just swatting his sword on himself to get her off? Get off me! No, don't. And then Aerith kind of whacking Sephiroth with his sword. I could actually see that kind of happening. Overall, I would actually rate this story a 3. I think if it was expanded on, I could easily, possibly raise it. Because I think the idea behind the story is solid. It has good fundamentals. It has a good writing style. We got the characters basics because obviously Amber is going to be the main character of the story, as well as Sora. And Sora's kind of becoming a major minor role. He's going to be a major character, but he's not going to be the main character. The story needs to revolve around Amber. So that's my review on Mysterious Onyx. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. This has been Dark Symphony 777, and cut.